We're reading the Manual for Teachers of A Course in Miracles. We're on question 6, and this question is healing certain? Here we go. It's a short one. Healing is always certain. It is impossible to let illusions be brought to truth and keep the illusions. Truth demonstrates illusions have no value. The teacher of God has seen the correction of his errors in the mind of the patient, recognizing it for what it is. Having accepted the atonement for himself, he has also accepted it for the patient. Yet what if the patient uses sickness as a way of life, believing healing is the way to death? When this is so, a sudden healing might precipitate intense depression and a sense of loss so deep that the patient might even try to destroy himself. Having nothing to live for, he may ask for death. Healing must wait for his protection. Healing will always stand aside when it would be seen as threat. The instant it is welcome, it is there. Where healing has been given, it will be received. And what is time before the gifts of God? We have referred many times in the text to the storehouse of treasures laid up equally for the giver and the receiver of God's gifts. Not one is lost, for they can but increase. No teacher of God should feel disappointed if he has offered healing and it does not appear to have been received. It is not up to him to judge when his gift should be accepted. Let him be certain it has been received and trust that it will be accepted when it is recognized as a blessing and not a curse. It is not the function of God's teachers to evaluate the outcome of their gifts. It is merely their function to give them. Once they have done that, they have also given the outcome, for that is part of the gift. No one can give if he is concerned with the result of giving. That is a limitation on the giving itself, and neither the giver nor the receiver would have the gift. Trust is an essential part of giving. In fact, it is the part that makes sharing possible, the part that guarantees the giver will not lose, but only gain. Who gives a gift and then remains with it to be sure it is used as the giver deems appropriate? Such is not giving, but imprisoning. It is the relinquishing of all concern about the gift that makes it truly given. And it is trust that makes true giving possible. Healing is the change of mind that the Holy Spirit in the patient's mind is seeking for him. And it is the Holy Spirit in the mind of the giver who gives the gift to him. How can it be lost? How can it be ineffectual? How can it be wasted? God's treasure house can never be empty. And if one gift is missing, it would not be full. Yet is its fullness guaranteed by God? What concern then can a teacher of God have about what becomes of his gifts, given by God to God, who in this holy exchange can receive less than everything? There you have it. You can go home now. Let's just say that, well, we could say a lot, but the Bhagavad Gita, if you've read the Bhagavad Gita, there's a lot in the Course in Miracles that has echoes with the Bhagavad Gita. Obviously, the Bhagavad Gita, if you know about it, if you don't, the Bhagavad Gita talks a lot about karma yoga and the yoga of letting go of attachment and letting go of attachment to the fruits of one's actions, meaning letting go of expectations, letting go of what am I getting out of this, or what am I going to get out of this? So selfish attachment. It's also called nishkama karma, which means selfless service or selfless action. And Jesus is saying something similar here, which is you give the gift of the atonement, and it will have an effect. It might not have an effect right away. It might not have an effect the way you want it to, but it will. You remain in that place of your quiet center where the Holy Spirit works through you. You know, the Holy Spirit, you get out of the way, you get the ego out of the way, and you let go of the results, and you let go of time, because time, you know, in reality, which is beyond time, beyond all time and space, there's no problem. No healing is necessary. That's completely illusory, right? So and if you're in that understanding when you're with someone, you realize that that person has no problem, and they are completely perfect. There's no there's nothing to heal. It's already healed, right? So you don't have any, you have no investment really in it at all, because you know it's already done, and it's not you that's doing it, right? Because whenever you come, you know, in thinking, oh, I'm doing this, or no, it's already done. You can't do anything. There's nothing you can do. It's already accomplished. The work is it's like Jesus on the cross. It is finished. The work is finished. So healing is certain, of course. It's already happened. Not only is healing certain, but there was no healing necessary. Right? Healing is an illusion, like forgiveness is an illusion. Where we have a problem, though, is we do get attached to, you know, things in the world, and people that we want to help them, but a lot of times they're not ready for it, and so we, you know, there need not be any coercion or forcing on our part, right? That's problematic, and that creates that may be worse than just letting things be as they are. Who are you to think that you're going to be the one to save someone? You don't need to save anyone. You know, you only need to worry about yourself, concerned about yourself. I have, you know, I mentioned in another video, there's this guy who is mad at me, and he came to me for help, and there was this whole kind of drama that happened, and I just kind of was watching it unfold, and I was like, wow, this is amazing that this this thing is happening. And then, you know, he somehow got into, it seemed like, some kind of paranoia about it, and thought that I was, you know, to make a long story short, that he began to think that I was taking advantage of him, which I wasn't. I was just, you know, things were unfolding as they were, and but I could understand his point of view, but things were just unfolding in that way, so it looked that way, but it wasn't really what was happening from my point of view, unless somehow I unconsciously was doing that myself. But I, you know, anyway, you know, the point being that how do I see him? I don't, you know, I could see that on the surface, he's suffering, he's struggling. But in reality, and I also feel like he's very upset at me. He seems to be making me a scapegoat. He seems to be making me that I did something to him, and I abused him. He was a victim. I'm saying this because he's put this into words with me, and the reality is that is projection, right? And I don't accept that. but I understand it. I have compassion and I have understanding, and I'm holding firm in that place of we are one. We are equals. There's no problem, and let's not forget to laugh, and let's not forget that there are greater forces at work than what we can understand. And when we get into that place of doubting and you could say paranoia, it's not healthy. But on the other hand, it's everything will resolve itself eventually, right? And we don't have to stress about how it's going to happen, but it will. John Lennon's great quote was, everything will be all right in the end, and if it's not all right, it's not the end. Everything is all right, already all right. Everything is already all right, and we just have to, and that's the atonement principle. Everything is already all right. And all we need to do is just step back and let love take the reins of the chariot. So anyway, that's all I got for now. We'll keep going with the manual. Thank you for tuning in, and adios.